Welcome, Damien. How are you today?
Mate, it's Friday. How could I not be anything but spectacular?
I think everyone is a bit boisterous on a Friday, so makes it easier to look forward to the next week.
Yeah, well, weekends are the same as the weeks at the moment, mate, because we can't go outside. But other than that, all good.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Would you like to give me a little bit of an intro about what HR Central does?
Sure, mate. HR Central is a outsourced HR provider for small and medium businesses across Australia. We use a combination of some very talented HR specialists and a cloud-based HR information system that we've built to provide that service and allow small business owners to sleep at night, mate, and know that they're covered with their HR requirements and their obligations.
We've been using the service for over 3 years now, so we've certainly noticed how valuable it's been to our staff, and we've now obviously got a staff of 25, and we've seen the impact of having the facilities and how they work, the update of the policies. It's really been beneficial for us, and we can certainly see that it's a piece of software that we can grow with as well. What are you seeing as the current situation in the marketplace for yourself at the moment?
Well, mate, the COVID situation has been very interesting. Firstly, small business scrambling to figure out how they can reduce their workforce as a result of reduced activity in business. Then JobKeeper arriving and the constant updates and changes and uncertainty around both the regulations and also the eligibility rules. That sort of went calm, and now I think people are looking at how do we come out of this once Melbourne in particular comes out of lockdown. How do we make sure our business is set to relaunch? And part of that, unfortunately, is a lot of redundancies, mate. We're seeing a lot of businesses looking at redundancies.
And are looking at that in a heavy mode at the moment? Is it something that's at the forefront of most businesses at the moment?
Well, it's interesting, mate. Having a national footprint, the businesses we're seeing in Queensland and WA and even South Australia, a lot of those businesses are operating as normal. They've come down a little bit on their turnover, but their business, as far as their people, has remained somewhat similar. But certainly those in Victoria are very much looking at the end of the JobKeeper phase one and the fact that they'll have less and potentially no government stimulus to help them, and the fixed cost of people is unfortunately one of the ones that's taken a hit.
And are you seeing some further opportunities outside of obviously government intervention stopping in the business at the moment for yourselves?
Mate, I think everyone has had an opportunity through this time to look at their business models and say, what can I do differently? How can I prepare myself better for what's ahead? Whether that's the short term, the medium term, and even the long term. Lots of people coming up with lots of good ideas, and that's where the opportunities are. If you change, there may be a better way that you weren't able to really put your mind to, or to change your business to go down that path before, because change management is hard. Old systems and legacy systems are difficult to change at times, but now the impact of this whole COVID scenario has meant things can change, and things need to change. If you don't change, some businesses are going to fold. I think one thing that's resonated with me very early on in the piece, another HR professional I was talking to said, never waste a good crisis, right? So there's a crisis here. How do we make the best of it? And I've really taken that from a personal point of view, and also for HR Central and our clients.
And what are some of the changes that HR Central have implemented during this period of time that you've taken advantage of the crisis?
Well, I think like everyone, mate, if you are looking to save costs, you go through your whole GL and just say, what do we got here? What are we spending our money on? And is it really valuable? Now, one of the big ones for us, we were quite fortunate in that we had been 10 years in our location, and our lease was up for renewal in the 30th of April. Obviously, with the timing, it was just good fortune, but to be able to take that cost out was a huge thing. That then says, okay, well, how does a phone system work when you don't have a physical location? So we've implemented a web-based phone system. Now we have all our team working remotely, and in some ways we've become a remote-first company. So all of our systems are built to be remote first.
And you wouldn't know. I mean, we've used the service, I would think 50, 60 times in the last 6 months. And you wouldn't know that you're no longer based in Toorak in Melbourne. You could be based anywhere, and we've noticed that the service hasn't dropped. In actually fact, the services has certainly really been fantastic for us, and we've really appreciated it, and it's really helped us, particularly with some of the clients and all the changes that have been going on. Where do you see some of the things moving into the future? So looking beyond, say, the next 6 months, do you see many things changes from a HR perspective?
Yeah, mate. I think, and even in our little shop, that the idea of commuting for people has been a bugbear since commuting existed. We've got 2 guys in our team who travel between 2.5 and 3 hours a day to get to and from their home and our office. Think about how much time that is over a week and over a year. It's a huge change in your lifestyle. It takes 1,000 hours to become an expert in something. Well, if it's 3 hours a day, it's not going to take long to become an expert in a new thing if that's your want. So I think it's going to be a lot more. It's going to become a lot more acceptable and a lot more normal that people are working from home.
Yeah, certainly. I've certainly implemented those strategies. I don't necessarily want to go outside my suburb anymore, and I remember traveling from east to west across the city, having three appointments in different parts of the city. It's so difficult to manage compared to where we are now. And I think everyone is certainly embracing technology and video calling like it's the norm. And I think there's some really good benefits for us in the future in relation to this. As I like to wrap up our interviews, I always like to ask a couple of interesting questions.
Okay.
One of them is, do you have any useless talent?
I've got many useless talents, mate. Useless talent. Well, I'll tell you what, mate. This is a party trick that I like to do for my kids. I can actually tie a knot in a lolly snake with my tongue in my mouth. Right? So no hands. Put the snake in, it comes out with a knot in it.
That's very useless.
Yes, it is.
And what's an old trend that you would like to come back?
An old trend that I'd like to come back, the mullet. And it sort of is a little bit in the AFL footballers at the moment with a bit of a modern twist. But my parents recently celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary, and I saw a family photo of my dad and my mum with my dad's parents and my dad's brothers and sisters. He's one of 5, and some of the haircuts that were getting around in there were absolutely magnificent. So,
well, I don't have any problem with hair, so. I won't be able to bring back the mullet, but one of the ones I was just talking about to someone this morning. Remember the old delivery trucks that used to deliver soft drinks at home on the back of a tray truck? They'd load it up, and you'd buy and you have the soft drink delivered in glass. Maybe they should bring one. Maybe they should bring that back at some point in time.
Mate, that's a ripper. Because I actually read an article, must have been in the last week or so, about how many soft drink manufacturers there used to be in Australia.
Yep.
There used to be hundreds, and now I think there's something like single figures, or maybe 10 or 12, because they've all been gobbled up by the big boys.
Certainly, a lot of things have certainly rationalised. Damien, thank you very much for joining us today. It's really much appreciated, and hopefully some of our listeners today will reach out and make contact with HR Central. So thanks very much.
Mate, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.